What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the GSMC DeadBall Sports Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Podcast Network. My name is Roberto Ramirez, a.k.a. Philly Rob, a.k.a. Papi Chulo, a.k.a. Puerto Rican Papi. You already know what it is. Don't let the Philly in my name fool you. This is a national show. We'll cover all bases in whatever sport is going on. You know what I mean? So, hey, don't forget, leave a like, subscribe, share. Let everyone know that this is the hottest new podcast going around. The GSMC DeadBall Sports Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Podcast Network. Don't forget, like, subscribe, share. Let everybody know. This is the hottest new sports podcast out there. You already know what it is. And hey, you know what? I got a proposition for you guys, like I do at every beginning of the show, right, team? This show is all about you. We love hearing your thoughts. We love hearing your questions, your opinions, and everything that we can dive on with the latest sports action. Whether you got a burning question or bold prediction or just want to give a shout out to your favorite player, don't hold back. Drop it in the comments. Your voice adds so much to the conversation, and we're here to make sure that it's heard. But if you really want to make sure that your message stands out, here's how you can guarantee that you can get it done. You want to be a part of this show? Click on that super chat feature. Just click on the $ at the bottom of the chat box. Send in your message, and it's a surefire way to get our attention. I'll be reading and replying to your super chats on the next episode after receiving them. Not only that, guarantees for you to be a part of this show. It keeps our show going strong. It keeps, your support means the world to us, and what allows us to keep this going, to continue to bring you the best sports content that you love week after week, day after day. This is a Monday through Friday podcast. Don't get it twisted. We are out here, baby. We're building something special here, and we couldn't do it without you. So jump in the conversation, send those super chats, and let's make this show even better together. We're nothing without you guys. And if you'd rather not use that super chat feature, you can always go to our website, gsmcsportsnetwork.net, to tip, donate, and leave a comment or any burning question you have out there. So grateful to have you with us, and we cannot wait to hear what you guys have to say. A lot going on in this show today. We're going to talk about college football predictions and top 25 teams. We'll talk about something in college football called Project Rudy. Very interesting stuff according to CBS Sports. NFL Power Rankings in the third segment. In the fourth segment, I'll talk about WNBA Finals Preview. And then we'll give you a little bit of a recap of what has happened. Happened in the world of NHL. I tell you, I cover everything. I cover every single sport you can think of. So let me know in the comments what other sport you want me to cover, what other things you want me to talk about. I'm a man of the people. I want to give the people what they want. With that being said, let's get started with a college football preview of Week 7. A lot going on. The Utah Utes going into Arizona State, number 16 Utah against Arizona State. Ladies and gentlemen, that's going to be a blowout. I predict 52-17, big statement win on the road. Utah wins comfortably. Number 10 Clemson at Wake Forest, another blowout win. And when I mean another blowout win, another blowout ugly win. 42-21. Clemson Tigers go out there, get things done. Another statement win for that school. Number 21, Mizzou, visiting UMass for whatever reason. 65-13, another big blowout. Mizzou goes to UMass, wins big on the road. South Carolina at number 7 Alabama, another blowout. Say what you want. South Carolina is mid-team. It's a mid-team. But Alabama's looking for blood. After losing to that game against Vanderbilt last week, they're looking for blood. They're mad. They're gonna come out with the chair. They're gonna break it outside. They're gonna be. It's just gonna be nothing but anger management game for the Crimson Tide. They win big, 45-7. Stanford goes on the road and visits number 11 Notre Dame. I don't even know why Notre Dame is ranked 11. Sure, Stanford is always tough on prime time. This game goes to Notre Dame, but not by much. Notre Dame wins this one 21-17. Number 1, Texas. At number 18, Oklahoma. The Red River rivalry. My goodness. The hell with both. You know, they moved out of the Big 12. They wanted to get greedy. They wanted to go to SEC because, you know, better competition. Sure, my man. It's going to be a close game because it's always a close game. Texas wins by a field goal, 34-31. Cal going to Pitt. This is a tough one. I had Pittsburgh win this one in close fashion, 24-17. But I think Cal is setting themselves up for the future. I think this team, they're somewhat of a problem now, almost beating Miami at home last week. But I just don't see them making this statement against Pitt on the road. I think it's too much. That game drained them. I'm talking about Cal against Miami. That game had to drain them emotionally. It's just too much to go back to the East Coast. Well, the start of the Midwest, you can say, Pittsburgh. Talking crap like a true Philadelphian here. But yeah, Pittsburgh is part of the Midwest. It's basically they should be the gate of the Midwest, not St. Louis. But yeah, I had Pittsburgh winning that one 24-17. Purdue at number 25 Illinois, big win for Illinois, 28-13. Then number 4 Penn State goes to UFC, and I see UFC winning this game. 27-21. That's a good USC team. And that is a long plane ride for Penn State. Long to get there, even longer to get back after that defeat, I think, in the hands of the USC Trojans. Next game, Arizona. A number 14 BYU. BYU wins comfortably 28-13. Mississippi State. And number 5, Georgia, the Dogs. The Georgia Dogs, the Bulldogs win big, 33-10. Florida, my goodness, man. They are going through it. You know what I mean? This is why I seriously hate preseason rankings. Can we stop? Can we please stop with preseason rankings? Please. Tennessee, Florida, goes into number 8 Tennessee. Tennessee is looking for blood after losing last week, 31-24. The Vols win comfortably at home. Number 9 Ole Miss at number 13 LSU. Look, say all you want. Ole Miss is a really good team. LSU is going to come out swinging. They're going to come out swinging over there in Baton Rouge. They're going to win 28-24 thanks to a big play to end the game. Tell it. Call it. Let me know in the comments. Am I crazy? Talk to me about my predictions. Then the game of the week, number 2 Ohio State and number 3 Oregon. I got Oregon winning this one. Why not? I couldn't call out an upset. Oregon's a really good team. But that's a really tough place to play at. Really tough. Really tough. And I think you can say all you want. Oregon got a better coaching staff. Next game, number 11, Iowa State. My school. at West Virginia. Close game, ugly game. Iowa State comes out with the W, 21-17 with a last-minute touchdown. Number 18, Kansas State at Colorado. I really don't believe in this Kansas State team. Going into Colorado is going to be rowdy, and I think Dion pulls out another big upset, 34-31, big field goal to end the game to send Kansas State packing back to Manhattan, Kansas. Number 17, Boise State at Hawaii. Nice vacation for the Broncos. Big win, 41-24. This is a very interesting subject that I want to talk about. Why in the world Hawaii is not a powerhouse? I understand their stadium, or Aloha Stadium situation, that place, my goodness, man. You can't build a stadium out of metal right next to a sea. You would think someone out there would be smart enough to say, like, hey, this salty water around this stadium made of metal, not exposed metal, but, metal that's outside. Someone needs to tell the boosters, hey, man, if we build it, we will come. Are you telling me, like, my man, I played the game. If Hawaii comes in calling, they tell me, hey, man, we like to come play at Honolulu, I wouldn't think too much of it. I'd rather be there than to freeze my butt at Ohio State than to freeze my butt at Michigan. Players go to where the party's at. Why Hawaii is not a powerhouse in college football, I just don't get it. I know it's far. My man, most of these cats that come play the game, they're young. They don't have a lot of places to be. And then they do have a place to be. What better place than Honolulu, Hawaii? In our next segment, we'll talk about Project Rudy. Don't go anywhere. This is the GSMC DeadBall Sports Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Podcast Network. Don't go anywhere.
I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign.
I wanna be the greatest. Everybody on the fake shit. I look around and feel like everybody is the fakest. I make this every day and I'm impatient, hoping one day I blow up from the basement. Statement, the top is so vacant. I don't hear shit that I think is amazing. Waiting for my day when I'm playing sold out shows for 1,000 faces. Hey, give me that crown, get in my way and to be put down. It ain't your place, all this my town. If I want that shit, then I'll get it right now. I'm losing it, the noose it fits. Some losing shit, a stupid myth. You choose to live or choose to dip. You choose to fight or lose your grip and lose a gift.
I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind?
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. We'll talk a little bit about this new thing called Project Rudy. But before we get there, ladies and gentlemen, don't forget, like, subscribe, share with your friends, let them know. We are wherever you get your podcast. Don't forget, GSMC DeadBall Sports Podcast. You know what I mean? Brought to you by the GSMC Podcast Network. Don't forget, like, subscribe, share. Click on that super chat. You want me to feature your comment on this show? Click on there. Let me know what you want. I will read your comment out loud for everyone to hear. Be a part of this show. We're making history, but we can't make it. I can't make history by myself. We got to make it together. Like, subscribe, share. Don't forget, follow us on TikTok. Follow us on Instagram. Follow us on Twitter, X, GSMC Sports Net. Now, for this segment, I want to talk about, this Project Rudy thing. According to CBS Sports, and it's funny, I call it funny because they call it Project Rudy, but it's really not about the little guy. I don't know if you guys seen the movie, but, the movie Rudy, it's about the little man that could, the little engine that could, that little guy that's just not blessed, but he works so hard, makes the team, makes everybody feel proud, right? Quite a hypocrite of a name, actually, to call it that. But this Project Rudy is about the giants of the game, the current giants of the game. In fact, at this point, I have no idea what the NCAA could do, because with this being said, football doesn't need the NCAA. The NCAA needs football. And the NCAA did way too many mistakes in the past, not allowing players to get paid on their name, image, and likeness. So many other things. But I think these are the big things, the big fish. By the big fish, I'm talking about the networks. ESPN, CBS. And I'm not forgetting about you, Fox. They're meddling, especially, Disney with ESPN. They want a piece of the pie, which is fine. Nothing wrong with that. But why in the world, the worldwide leader in sports is basically orchestrating this to happen? A couple years ago, I want to talk a little bit about soccer, but I'll come back to football. They try to make a super league. All the big teams in Europe, Real Madrid, Barcelona, Juventus, PSG, etc., all together in one league and not play domestically. Bad for the game. They want to do the same thing in college football. I mean, at this point, any other Division I conference should just literally step down to Division II if we allow this super division to happen. It's about 70 teams, what they're proposing, with a lot of money coming in. $9 million will go into expanding the already way too expanded playoff. I understand a lot of these teams don't want to play for a participation trophy, which what I call a bowl. I don't see anything wrong with bowls. I think bowls are somewhat good. It's a consolation prize for actually ended up with a winning record. But you telling me that 12 teams in this tournament, because right now it's up to 12, the SEC is going to get 3 teams, probably 4, because they're so good. They can't even dominate their own conference. I don't even see the value or the purpose of conferences. It was a huge mistake for the NCAA to allow more than 12 teams in a conference. They should have set that in stone years ago and limit teams to 12. But, let the boys with the money do whatever they want. A lot of these players are making more money than seasoned veterans in the NFL. Guys who never played ever a pro down and probably won't are getting more money right now than a lot of NFL vets. And look, I'm very pro player. I'm not saying don't let them get paid. I'm saying let them get paid, but hey, we gotta put a little bit of a stop to this. Somewhat of a salary cap. Quarterbacks get X amount, offensive starters get X amount, defensive starters get X amount. Like a good amount, I'm talking over 100,000, probably over 200,000 for each player. Why not? A lot of these players, a lot of these universities and boosters and whatever they get their money up, they paying $4, $5, $7, $8, $10 million to these quarterbacks. Spread it around a little bit. Make it clear. Put it in a contract. That way we could avoid the situation that happened at UNLV, where the quarterback and the running back apparently took handshake deals, and they were like, hey, man, the quarterback was probably allegedly offered $100,000, only got $3,000 to move there. The dude literally got out of school, dropped out of school because he didn't get paid. Luckily, UNLV still undefeated. I don't know how, but backups came in hot. Did the damn thing. Good for them. But this is something that could have been easily avoided. I don't like the fact that they want to treat, this is the purpose, of course, to have the SEC as the big standard, the big boss, the big elephant in the room. Take the oxygen out of the room. Take teams out of every single conference. Just like the Big Ten is doing, which is basically a nationwide conference. And now the ACC, it's in chats with everybody, just trying to talk, and this is where Project Rudy comes in. What can the NCAA do to stop this and to keep the SEC from leaving the NCAA and go play ball somewhere else? Take their ball mad because they want to make an exorbitant amount of money. They're being just as greedy. I wouldn't call the players greedy, because if you're young, it takes one injury for your career to be done. Get as much money as you can. But these universities have a lot of money, and they have a lot of interest in making a lot of money. It takes money to make money. But are we doing this in the expense of everyone else in college football? To the point now that they're proposing this league that is basically going to shut out every other conference to not even have a chance at an expanded tournament. It's basically the anti-Boise State. What is the purpose of conferences? Why are we allowing more than 12 teams to a conference? The genie is out of the bottle. How can the NCAA put the genie back in? It's by figuring out a way to put huge prizes, huge amount of prizes into these bowl games that are now the playoffs. Just to make it to the playoff, you get $5 million. You move on to the next round, you get 5 more. Until you make it to the final. In the final, the winner will get 12. The loser will probably get 3. Incentivize these teams to stick around and make a lot of money in a 12-team tournament. What do you guys think? And I'm going to expand on this subject more later on, because right now the SEC is in talks with the Big Ten and the ACC is in talks with a lot of people. Nothing has come out of this. I'll probably get back to this subject next week to see what was the outcome of this Project Rudy situation. But I am not a fan. What is the point of having 3 teams from one conference? If they wanted to make this conference harder, that's on them. That's on the SEC. They wanted the best of the best to come to the SEC. Don't come in to a tournament with 3 losses. Meanwhile, Iowa State is undefeated. BYU is undefeated. It's not their fault that they play in the Big 12. They're getting the job done. They're out there winning games. They can only do so much. A lot of the schedule is 2 years made in advance. I don't know what the hell's going on. What are these people thinking, trying to kill college football? With that being said, in our next subject, I'll talk about NFL Power Rankings for Week 6. Do not go anywhere. This is the GSMC DeadBall Sports Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Podcast Network. Don't go anywhere.
Looking for your daily fix of sports talk without having to pay for it? GSMC Sports Network is available on YouTube. Just search GSMC Sports Network. Get your fix of daily sports talk shows on YouTube, absolutely free. NFL, college football, NBA, MLB, MMA, UFC, fantasy football, and so much more. GSMC Sports Network has shows running all day long, with new sports shows starting every 2 hours. Just like on your favorite cable sports channel, except GSMC Sports Network is absolutely free. Just search GSMC Sports Network on YouTube to catch one of your new favorite shows, like the GSMC College Football Podcast, Chip Shot Football Podcast, Hoops and Heels Women's Sports Podcast, GSMC Basketball Podcast, and so many more. Check it out for yourself. GSMC Sports Network, now available on YouTube absolutely free. Search GSMC Sports Network on YouTube right now.
What's going on? Welcome back to the show. This is the GSMC DeadBall Sports Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Podcast Network. Do not forget, like, subscribe, tell your friends about the hottest new podcast going on, the GSMC DeadBall Sports Podcast. We talk about everything, baby. This is a national sports show brought to you by the one and only Roberto Ramirez. Click on that super chat. Let us know. I will put your comment. I will read it out loud in our next show. Click like, subscribe, leave a comment. I like to go through comments, hear what you guys have to say, and all that good stuff. Let's talk about NFL top 10 power rankings for Week 6. And the only reason why I always talk about the top 10, I saw in the comments, like, look, what do you want to talk about? I talk about winners, my man. Who cares about the bottom 5 teams in the league? At number 10, at 3-2, the Seattle Seahawks. Yes, they lost a big-time game to the New York Giants at home. That's the reason why I dropped them from when I had them before, but I still think they have enough coaching, enough talent to be a top 10 team in this league. I'm sure they'll bounce back. I expect them to win against the Niners at home. The Niners have kind of lost their way. Niners take a divisional game into Seattle. I don't think the Niners survive. Even though Brendan Ayuk woke up and Purdy looked decent, I think the Seahawks would handle business. At number 9, the Tampa Bay Bucks, another team that has dropped. I literally have no idea what to expect out of each of these 4 NFC South teams. You don't know if they're going to win. You don't know if they're going to lose. They've been so inconsistent. Week after week, I literally have no idea what to expect out of them. No idea. The next game is a divisional game at New Orleans Saints. I don't know what's going to happen there. And I don't know what to expect. At number 8, the Green Bay Packers at 3-2. A lot of parity in the NFL this season. They play the Texans at home. Tough game. But I feel like that big win against the LA Rams last week just kind of sparked this team to get it going. You know what I mean? Let's see what happens. At number 7, the Buffalo Bills at 3-2. 2 losses in a row make them fall from the top 3, which I had them. But luckily, they face a Jets team that's in a lot of disarray. For first place in the division. So I expect them to win that game against the Jets and go up in the power rankings. But it's going to be an ugly game. At number 6, the Washington Commanders at 4-1. Very explosive offense. Even though Jaden Daniels didn't look very sharp last weekend, he still put up numbers. And I expect them to do that in the battle of the belt of D.C., the D.C. belt. For those in the Washington, D.C. area, y'all know how bad your traffic is. They play the Ravens this weekend. That's a tough one. In Baltimore. Number 5, the team that they face, the Baltimore Ravens, 3-2. They're getting hot at the right time. Good coaching, good quarterback play. Imagine if they defeated the Chiefs in week 1. Everybody will be talking about Super Bowl with this team. And number 4, the Houston Texans. They outclassed what I thought who was the class of the AFC, the Buffalo Bills. I know they did it at home, but that's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to take care of business at home. Like I said, a lot of great coaching. D'Amico Ryans has this team ready to go. They face the Pats. They're going to New England this weekend. I'm sure they'll take care of business. At number 3, the Detroit Tigers. This team should be 4-0 if they didn't lay an egg against Tampa Bay. For whatever reason, they did. A lot of teams have been laying eggs all over the schedule that we had of 5 weeks. It's hilarious. But they face a very interesting team in the Cowboys. Interesting, they're not playing against each other this Thanksgiving. They're going to face each other next week. Who do you guys have winning that game? Detroit, who is good at running the ball, or the Cowboys, who's not very good at stopping the run? And number 2, the Kansas City Chiefs at 5-0. They have a bye this week. Too many injuries. I have to put them down. They depend too much. They depend too much on the refs. Call me a hater. I'm not a fan. Teams with very tough schedules usually don't do very well the next year. They have a very tough schedule this year. You got to beat the 11 on the field. You got to beat the refs too. You need to play a perfect game to beat the Chiefs. And at number 1, numero uno, drum roll, please. Keeping Minnesota at number 1. The team that embarrassed the Jets. The owner, Rudy, over there in England last week, got Robert Saleh fired. This team is for real. Sam Darnold. I mean, comeback player of the year? Is he an MVP candidate? I would say so. With the way Josh Allen has been playing during the last 2 games, if he throws up another stinker, let's see what happens. Brian Flores got this defense ready for action. I want to hear what you guys have to say. Do you agree or disagree with my picks? Or I'm talking my picks for top 10 in this NFL Power Rankings for Week 6. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Let me know in the comments. Click on that super chat. You can also follow us on Instagram, GSMC Sportsnet, on Twitter X, GSMC Sportsnet. You can follow us on TikTok, GSMC Sportsnet. Don't forget, share, like, subscribe. In our next segment, we'll talk about the WNBA Finals Preview. And why does the WNBA think they could compete against the NFL? My goodness, something that I will never understand. We're going on break. This is a GSMC DeadBall Sports Podcast brought to you by the GSMC Podcast Network. Do not go anywhere. We'll be back.
For the best and latest podcasts available anywhere, go to the podcast app on your cell phone and type in GSMC to access free content-rich podcasts on health and wellness, book reviews, sports, entertainment, relationships, social media, movies, technology, finance, and even weird news. Subscribe and download the GSMC Podcast Network's family of shows, available everywhere podcasts are found.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the GSMC DeadBall Sports Podcast brought to you by the GSMC Podcast Network. Please don't forget, like, subscribe. Let us know what you guys think of the GSMC DeadBall Sports Podcast. Do you like it? Do you love it? Do you hate it? Do I suck at this? Am I good at this? I just get it started. I'm starting to fall in love with this podcast situation. Shout out to everyone in the GSMC Podcast Network. We do this for you. Like, subscribe, share. Let everyone know that we're here. This is the hottest new podcast out there. You can follow us on Instagram, GSMC Sportsnet. Follow us on TikTok, GSMC Sportsnet. You can get us wherever you get your podcasts. So many platforms out there. But if you're on YouTube, like, share, subscribe, click on that super chat, donate if you want me to hear out loud your comment. Now, coming back, I want to talk about WNBA Finals Preview. Ladies and gentlemen, the Minnesota Lynx open up against the New York Liberty in a best-of-5 series on ESPN, and it starts Thursday night at 8 p.m. over there in Brooklyn. After that, for whatever reason that I will never understand, and I don't know why the WNBA picked this battle, I'm sighing, and it's not a sigh of relief. It's more of a, what are you doing, knucklehead? They decided to put this game to Sunday at 3 p.m. I think they forgot that there's another sport who's an elephant in this parking lot we call sports, because we're not even in a building, it's a parking lot called the NFL. Somebody needs to talk to them. Game 3, Liberty at Lynx over there at the Target Center in Minnesota on Wednesday the 16th at 8 p.m. Game 4 will be Friday the 18th at 8 p.m. Same venue, Target Center in Minneapolis. Then they come back to Brooklyn, play the final game, Game 5, on Sunday the 20th at 8 p.m. on prime time. I have no idea why the WNBA picked this battle, and I know I should be talking about the players right now, but I want to talk about the commish and, yeah, ESPN too, to an extent. Why they picked 2 Sundays? Why are they playing on 2 back-to-back NFL Sundays and think we're going to get ratings? They probably will. But they need to understand 2 things. Caitlin Clark is not on the floor. And also, you got the big giant elephant in the parking lot, not in the building. You can't fit all these leagues now into a building because the women have entered the chat. We are in a big parking lot, and the NFL is the big giant elephant. It's taking up all the space and all the oxygen too, even though we outside. Why would you pick this battle against the NFL? In a league that needs ratings for these women to get paid, so they can work out a TV deal so the league is actually profitable. You might want to put these games on Saturday, because I'd rather go against college football than against the NFL. Say what you want, but you're telling me that a 3 p.m. game for game 2, for whatever reason, is going to defeat NFL ratings, or let alone get good ratings. I just don't see it. I hope they do. I hope the women pull some ratings, and I know Sabrina Ionescu is much see TV right now, the way she's playing. I hope it goes up to 1 million. I just don't see it happening. I really don't. Let's talk about the Minnesota Lynx. Napheesa Collier, top 5 in the playoffs with these stats. First in points per game during these playoffs at 27.1. Fourth in rebounds with 9.6. All while shooting 54% from the field. And 45% from 3. Don't forget, she's also shooting 87.9% from the charity stripe. It's pretty good stuff. Her teammates are going to have to step up and show up, because she's been a one-woman wrecking crew for this team. Sabrina Ionescu has been a powerhouse offensively during the playoffs as well. She's scoring 20.7 points per game, also adding to that 5.2 assists per game, grabbing 5.2 boards per game. Not only that, let me tell you who also entered the chat. Breanna Stewart, 20 points per game. And don't forget about her 8.2 rebounds per game. Why would you want to put this on a Sunday against the national sport of this country, where everyone is obsessed, even if their team sucks, thanks to fantasy football? I think the New York Liberty are going to go out and finish out their revenge tour and win this series, this best of 5 series, 3-1. I don't see how they can stop 2 great players in Sabrina Ionescu and Breanna Stewart. They're going to get it done, and I wouldn't be surprised if they win the title again next year with how gassed and low-key old Las Vegas has looked. Indiana might take some time. I don't think they'll win it next year. They need a lot of help outside of Alicia Boston and Caitlin Clark. I don't think their coaching is good, too. Might need to get a new coach around there and get things going, get the ball rolling. I want to hear what you guys have to say. Leave a comment. Let me know, who do you think is not only going to win this series, which, like I said, I believe the New York Liberty will win this series 3-1. But this Minnesota team is pretty tough. They got a lot of good guard play. But outside of that, I don't see very much. In my opinion, I thought Connecticut was a much better team. They just laid an egg playing on the road in Game 5 over there in Minnesota and didn't get the job done. Dejounte Carrington just was out there by herself. No one wanted to go out and help her. But you're playing to win the game, right? Playing to win the series. Minnesota won that series. They earned their spot to the final. Hopefully they get to win that one game I predicted, but I see the Liberty winning this. Also, leave a comment. Let me know, who do you guys think is going to win the WNBA Finals MVP? I think it's going to be Sabrina. She's just way too good, and she's basically unstoppable. No one can stop her from getting anything less than 20 points per game in the playoffs. And I don't believe Minnesota is going to be the team that's going to make that happen. Don't forget, Breanna Stewart is also part of this squad. She's going to get hers, and she's going to dominate the boards. Let me know what you guys think. Do you agree with what I have to say, or you disagree? Leave a comment, like and subscribe, share. In our next segment, we'll talk about the NHL, man. The NHL just started and no one is talking about it. It's so sad. What happened to the game that I love? This is the GSMC DeadBall Sports Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Podcast Network. Do not go anywhere. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the show. This is the GSMC DeadBall Sports Podcast, and you made it to the last segment of the show. Don't forget, like, subscribe, share. Let everyone know that this is the hottest new podcast out there, the GSMC DeadBall Sports Podcast, brought to you by the good fellas and the good folks at the GSMC Podcast Network. Shout out to Andrew Tate. That's my dude. Love him to death. Like, share, subscribe. Click on that super chat. Let us know what you guys think. Tell us everything. Tell us how you feel. This is wild, man. I'm loving this show. I'm falling in love with this podcast thing. With that being said, let's talk about what no one is wanting to talk about. The NHL. If you don't know, if you haven't heard, because I guess no one cares about hockey, I'm that weird Puerto Rican who loves hockey, you know. In South Philly, it doesn't matter if you're black, Puerto Rican, Asian, Italian, Irish. You watch hockey. It is what it is. Yesterday, the league started. And the Blues, man. St. Louis Blues with making a statement win. 3-2, beating the Kraken at home. Surprising win there. I didn't expect that. The Bruins at the Florida Panthers. And the defending champs stomping their feet. Letting everyone know that their title was not a fluke last year. Defeating the Boston Bruins. Every time Boston loses, it just brings joy to my heart. It does. When the Celtics lose, it makes me happy. I get a little tingly inside. I get happy. Say what you want. The one team in Boston that doesn't bother me at all, the Red Sox. So that's a subject for another day. Let's go back to hockey. Like I said, the Panthers. Florida Panthers defeat the Boston Bruins 6-4. High scoring game. The Chicago Blackhawks go into Utah and get that behind kicked. Utah, who literally has an opportunity to be the new Golden Knights of the NHL. You remember when they started, they went all the way to the Stanley Cup, drafted well, did things well. Now they have this issue that they don't even have a team name. It doesn't matter. You know what? They beat Chicago 5-2 at home. Great start over there in Salt Lake City. It's going to be interesting because Salt Lake, there's something that I'm going to talk about a little bit farther down the week, probably next week. Utah is trying to become a 4, maybe a 5-team pro team city. They're acting like a lot of athletes want to go there. And look, don't get me twisted. Utah is a beautiful place. It really is. It's a wonderful place. But if you're an athlete with a certain lifestyle, moving to a state so conservative, are you willing to make the move and go there as a free agent? It's a really good question. Now, in today's NHL action, a lot more stuff happened. Toronto Maple Leafs go play the Montreal Canadiens. The Canadiens come out with a victory, 1-0. The New York Rangers go into Pittsburgh, another team that I despise, and get it done. This New York Rangers team is very scary because they are so fast on that ice. That's a relentless team. I'm loving that the Penguins are in the back end. They're gonna stink for a few upcoming years, but that Rangers team worries me. I'm a Flyers fan, by the way. I don't think we'll do a lot of damage this year. I'm just gonna say it, Mitch Croft. Remember that name. But for now, this Rangers team is deadly. And I can see them coming out of the East. The Calgary Flames going to Vancouver, play the Canucks. Canucks come out with a 3-0 victory. Right now, two teams are playing live. Colorado Avalanche on losing on the road to the Golden Knights, Las Vegas Golden Knights team, 3-5, with 13 minutes left in the third period. And the Winnipeg Jets go into Edmonton. This is surprising. They're beating the Oilers 5-0 with 8 minutes to go in the third period. What is going on? I did not expect that at all. Nino Deterrier, I probably butchered his last name. 3 points tonight. A lot of game left, but this one you can call it a wrap. More games tomorrow. The Florida Panthers face the Ottawa Senators, 7 p.m. The Montreal Canadiens going to Boston. That's a tough one. Tomorrow at 7 p.m. Toronto Maple Leafs face the New Jersey Devils tomorrow at 7 p.m. Los Angeles Kings go into Buffalo, face the Sabres, 7 p.m. game. Utah goes into Long Island. Play tomorrow at 7:30. The Penguins, Pittsburgh Penguins, go into Detroit tomorrow at 8 p.m. Columbus Blue Jackets face the Minnesota Wild tomorrow at 8 p.m. Also, the Dallas Stars, which is a really good team. That team is also fast as hell, and they're a pest of a team to match up against. They have a tough game coming up. They're playing the Predators over there in Nashville at 8 p.m. St. Louis Blues face the Sharks, San Jose Sharks, at 10:30 over there in San Jose, California. I want to hear from you guys. Who do you guys think is the best team in the East? I'm starting to believe that it's the New York Rangers. It kills me to say it, but I'm a realist. Who do you guys think is the best team in the West? I think in the Western Conference, the Stars are the team to beat. And I know I haven't mentioned the Florida Panthers. They are the defending champs. It's so hard to repeat in the NHL, especially when lower seeds get really hot, just like in baseball, and can defeat a juggernaut. Just like it happened last year with Boston, with the Bruins. Best record ever in the history of the NHL. They come out. Not sure if it was best record of most points, but they definitely did very, very well, better than any other team in history, and got bounced out. What do you guys think? We'll talk more about NHL Power Rankings probably a little bit farther down this week. But with that being said, you guys have made it to the very end of the show. Thanks for tuning in. Love you guys. Appreciate it. Leave a like, subscribe, and leave a comment. Let me know how am I doing? Am I accurate? Do I suck at this? Do you like my voice? Whatever. Give a shout out to anybody. And if you click on that super chat, I'll make sure that your comment gets read out by myself on this show. Ladies and gentlemen, I'll see you guys tomorrow. There's so much more that I want to talk about. Don't go too far because we'll be back. We'll be back tomorrow, guys. Take care. This was the GSMC DeadBall Sports Podcast.
Let's go. I wake up to a little bit of drool on my pillow, feel like it's gonna be a bad day. Yeah, I'm tired of shit, and the coffee ain't hit yet, damn, ain't that great.
I don't wanna go to